just trying to
And
see
then
it.
we are live now.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Well,
We're
how's
live.
everybody doing out there today? Hey, we're gonna be talking about some real estate today, so people tune in, send your questions in. John and Alex,
There you
how you
go.
doing, Alex?
I'm doing good, man.
How's everything going?
This things are going good. This is kind of a cool thing, man. Getting set up with our very first live stream.
Yeah,
Forgive me if we make some technical mistakes and things like that along the way, because we're new at this.
very new,
So
very new.
if
But
my dog jumps on my lap in the middle, then who knows what might
yeah,
happen. That's the beauty of live streaming.
hey, that's it. I'm sitting here in the studio, in my studio, recording studio, and I got the board back. So if I can, answer some questions that people might have, I'll be happy to put on the board. But one of the things I guess we want to talk about was the industry today and how easy it is to buy a home. I was speaking with a lady last night, Alex, on the phone, and I hope she listening. Listening, but I was speaking to her last night. She wanted to rent a house, and she had good credit. And I was trying to explain to her, why would you rent at this particular time when the rates are so low? And me and you talk
Yeah.
about this all the time. And she was asking to rent. I would tell her, I said, listen, if I'm gonna rent you a house, I'm gonna rent you for $800-900 a month. So why would I rent it for $800-900 a month when you can get the same house for $100,000 and you probably paying $550-600 a month?
And your interest is tax deductible.
Yeah, well, I didn't tell her that, but yeah, your interest be tax deductible, and you're buying. The main thing, you own the house.
Well, every month you own a little bit more. A little bit more as you're knocking down that principal every month. It's becoming an asset for you. Yeah. Unless you think you're going to move in the next year or 2 years, really, yeah, you shouldn't rent. If you got a job that's going to move you all around all the time, okay, I can see you renting. But if there are roots there and you want to stay, then why wouldn't you do that? It's kind of, especially now, because one thing people may not know, if you're not watching this every day, is the rates are coming down so much. But they are at the kind of point where there's really not that much more room to go, but they are stuck. If you'll bear with me, I'm going to show you a screen here. So here's our first jump into a screen. I'm going to show you where rates have been and where they're going. So I'm going to share a click, a Chrome tab, 30-year mortgage rate. Okay. So there it is on the right. This is ycharts.com. It's really great. They showed you for years where rates have been going all the way back to 2016 to where we are here in 2020. And I'm going to make this full screen so people can see it, John. So we're going to lose our pictures for a second.
That's good.
So I'd zoom in on this a little bit more. Do you see this little number right down here? It might be hard to read, but this says 3.18%. That's the current average mortgage rate available today. Do you see where we were so many years ago? And just basically Christmas 2018, we were near 5 on the rate. Now we're at 3.18%. So rates have dropped almost 40% in under 2 years.
So right now you're saying 3.1%?
3.18. Let's call it 3.2. Just round up, just to make it easy. But a 3.2 rate on a $100,000 note means you're only paying $3,200 a year of interest, which works out to about, quick math in my head.
Well, I did 100, Alice. I did $100,000 loan at a 3% rate, and I'm coming in at $488 a month.
And then you'll have
it's $422, but I got taxes and insurance in there, so I'm right around
taxes and insurance. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where you're going to rent something for that amount of money per month.
Me either.
No, and it's not thrown away money.
No.
It's not like once you rent it, unless you pay your rent for June and June's over, you got nothing to show for June.
That's
but
right.
When you're in a mortgage, you've knocked another, in that kind of a rate, maybe another $120 off the balance of your loan. And at some point in the future, you're not even going to have a mortgage anymore. 30 years, or if you refinance, whatever, you won't even have a payment anymore. And you know what? It doesn't take much more to even do a 15-year mortgage over a 30.
Yeah, I was looking at the 15 the other day, and the 15 was at, I think, with 2.53 when I was looking at the 15 the other day.
Right, because they lowered the rate. You could pay off your house in half the time by only paying 20% more per month. So that just seems like to me, you're saving yourself a ton of interest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can think 15 years in the future. 30 years in the future is like, what am I going to be doing? I don't know. But for 15 years, bam, that's pretty easy. So that's where we are today on those
15,
rates.
15 years on that $100,000 note. I'm at 757 at 15 years. I just
Okay.
did it. I'm at 757, 15
As
years,
opposed to 400
as
and
opposed to 488, and that include the homeowner insurance. I just put in
okay.
67 dollars for homeowner insurance.
So yeah, you pay some more. Granted, you'll pay some more every month, but in 15 years, you'll be making no more payments.
Yeah, and what you got to think about for 15 years, if you've been written for 15 years, just think about 15 more years, and you can get into this house and own this house. And
How
the
many
houses are
people,
out there, man. They're out there. What
how
What do
many
you
people,
think about people buying houses and fixing them up? I mean, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? Like, say if a customer, I had a lady call me last night. She said she got the 401k money, and she was like, she never owned a home, but she got like 60, 70 grand, maybe 100 grand. That she thinking her 401k. What do you think about her taking that money, buying a house, or taking money out that and fixing the house up? Not all the money, but maybe say she need $25,000 repairs. How do that work in your mind? Because I know me and
is
you.
this for her to live in or for her as an investment to then
Well,
turn
she's
around?
renting right now. Of course, she's renting right now, so she will be living into the house. So it's like buying a foreclosure, buying a distressed property, and then maybe taking some of her 401k money and fixing the house up. I know she got to pay. She will have to pay the capital gain on that. But with the rates being so low, with that in your mind, is that an advantage to her right now?
Well, rates don't go down like we would just finish talking about how rates are just going down, down, down over the last 18 months. They don't go down for a good reason.
Right.
They go down because the economy has been distressed.
Gotcha.
And when that happens, then you typically have a greater and greater supply of homes that come on the market that are in a distressed position that need some work. People can't afford to fix it up, whatever the case is. So you typically see it coincides with lower rates or bigger bargains on what you can buy. So,
Okay.
2 years ago, you and I have done some investing into looking at houses, and we couldn't find anything to buy to fix that made financial sense. They were
Right.
just too expensive
Mm-hmm.
because people were living large, economy is good. But now that this economy is not what it was, and we've had a lockdown, there's a lot of people looking to sell, and they're selling for prices that are becoming very attractive. So you look at where you're paying rent, what $1,000 a month of rent doesn't get you much.
Mm-hmm.
You can easily jump into a house that's inexpensive because it needs work. And if you're dealing with a good contractor
Mm-hmm. Almost
who's
there.
going to fix that house up for you properly,
Yeah.
it's actually most of the times better than buying a brand new house in
What
terms
What
of
do
what you get for your money.
what do you think? Because I know you look at money real, real close. So what do you think about they got 100,000 in 401k, pulling some of that money out that 401k and then using it to fix the house up? Is that worth it for that particular person to do that right now at this time with the rates being so low to buy their first property?
You should always talk to your accountant, your tax advisor about what are the repercussions of you pulling money out. Are you borrowing against it, or are you fully withdrawing it? Because if you're going to get smacked with a 20% penalty, tax penalty for pulling it out, that might not be
Okay.
the best idea. If you make yourself a loan off
Okay.
of it
Uh-huh.
and pay yourself interest, which you're paying your own self interest back into your plan, so you're
Mm-hmm.
not really losing out,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably a better method. Don't
Okay.
just withdraw it,
Yeah.
but use it to your ultimate advantage. And again, always talk to a tax professional, because John and
Okay.
I aren't lawyers or accountants. We're guys that
No.
make money doing investment in real estate. We've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for about 20 years. And
Yeah.
John and I are about 3 or 4 months apart in age, I think. So we've both been
Yeah.
doing
Oh
this
yeah.
for quite a while. We're not the
Right.
spring chickens, as the beard indicates, in my gray.
There you go. But I mean, hey, that's good advice to him. Most definitely, talk to your tax professional.
Mhm.
I just had customers that's calling me all the time about houses, and I was just trying to make sure I get the information out, different point of view, and that way you can
Yeah.
kind of talk to them on your level or what you think the best thing to do. But that's good advice. Get in touch with your tax professional and make sure your taxes are
And
paying, and then borrow it, because I had about 4 or 5 people that did borrow money against a
yeah,
401k.
that's right. That's probably with counsel with your financial advisor, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Now, one thing to think of too is it's all about preparation to buy real estate too, because I know you and I have come across deals that were really, really great deals, but because the better the deal, the shorter the amount of time it's going to exist out there before someone snatches it up.
Right.
Bad deals, they just stick around. They last. They keep trying to market them and shop them. They're too expensive for what you're getting. It's not a good deal, so no big deal. But you need to be ready to pull trigger when it's time. So you don't find the house and then line up your financing. That's backwards. You want to line up your financing so when that house comes, you snap your finger and you get it done. That's why I find a lot of people aren't prepared. You know, you don't save up for a rainy day when the rain starts. You get your finances together, your credit together. That's your area of expertise. You know, there's a lot of steps to take before you jump into the house. That's like, oh, I love the house. Great. What have you done to get ready to be a home buyer? Because just like everything else, when you go into a job, you need to be trained, before you start doing that work. You need to have your education down before you start. You know, you don't want a guy coming to, be a contractor in your house who hasn't gone through a lot of training and apprenticeship beforehand. Same thing. You want to make sure you're ready when it's time to buy.
Right.
And that's what you do a lot. You do a lot of training with people, the one-on-one consulting.
I mean, most definitely. I mean, with the program I got out, I actually, work with them from start to finish. And usually most of the people that I get, I'm with them about 6 months. So I'm really into their files and I'm really working with them, showing them the right moves to make with the information you bring with this new show that we're going to be talking every day, once a week. People are going to be able to get more information from us. So yeah, I do the training.
And it's not hard, but it does take some diligence, just like everything else. Going to the gym is not hard, but you do need to be regular about it and keep on top of it, and it's not fun sometimes, but the results are so much better than the short term, effort you put out the gym. Your whole life has changed, and it can be life changing. But unfortunately, our higher education system and our primary education system, I don't know, they don't teach personal finance. They don't teach wealth creation. They don't teach these things. And sometimes you got to wonder if that's for a reason, but that's another video for another time. But
one of the things I focus on real heavy is teaching my daughter. She's 19 years old. We'll get her on the show one day, and she speaks on my radio show, and I focus on getting her really ready for society and for this credit thing. Her credit score now is right around close to 700. So I've been working with her, showing her how to work credit, how to do credit. She's 19 years old. So when she go out here and she tried to purchase something, it's kind of funny. She called me the other day and she had a credit card and she's 19 years old. So she like, Daddy, I got to make this credit card payment. I said, okay, go ahead and make it. Well, I thought you were going to make it. So you have to work with that right there with her. But other than that, she is learning, and because she didn't learn this in school and now she's learning it. So, we have to just, keep it moving and see, can we help them out? I don't know. It's a hard one.
and people don't realize sometimes too, when it comes to like credit, I learned a long time ago, talked to a mortgage person. She says, I need 3 things from a person, either great down payment, great income, or great credit score. I can work if I have 2 of the 3. Now, if you have 3 of the 3, it's great. You're going to get the best rates, the best terms, but you can do it with 2 of the 3. But you can't do those things suddenly. In other words, your credit takes time to build. To make a good income, you got to make a career that builds. And saving up for a down payment takes time. And a lot of other things in your life can take precedence that shouldn't take precedence. So it is about priority. It's not about you making $100 a month cable bill, or 5 different streaming services, or restaurants 5 times a week. You got to kind of put everything to like, what is your top priority?
Right.
Because especially on things that are temporary, people spend money on temporary, not on things that are permanent and have lasting wealth, generational wealth effects. Because that's a house you can hand down to your kids one day.
You're right.
You might be buying. It could be all kinds of things, and once you climb out of it, it starts to build on itself. It's like a snowball. rolling down a hill.
One
And
thing, one thing you hit the word is that we talk about all the time is generational wealth, and that's one thing I try to teach people when they come to my classes is how to build generational wealth. But to go back on the credit, I want to say this about the credit because this popped in my mind when you were talking about the credit, and I want people to understand this. There's only 5 things that affect the credit score. We got 5 things that affect the credit score, and number one is payment history, which is 35% of that score. Outstanding debt is 30% of that score. That's 65% that going into that 100% of that credit score. And then length of time, being in there, you get 15% just for your name. I mean, just for, name, you got 15% added to it. That's how everybody get a score. Then you got 10% for inquiries, and then you got 10% for type of credit use, which is you need a revolving and you need an installment. And we can get into that a little bit lower down the board, and we can really talk about that. But those are the only 5 things that make up that 100%, where that credit score is thrown in there to throw those numbers to get you that 650, 700, 800, whatever you got. How well you manage that. So credit is not hard when you break it down and get a clear understanding of it. You just got to, maintain it and kind of manage it and finesse it a little bit. People teaching me to use the word finesse instead of manipulate. So you got to manage it and finesse it a little bit. And you'll get your credit score up the way you're supposed to. It's only 5 things. And that's the hardest thing that people don't understand, Alex, that I try to tell them when they come to me about credit. All we got to do is managing. And I got the budgeting power software that teach you how to manage that credit and manage that budget. Better budget means better credit, always.
Right. It's that old axiom, what gets measured gets done.
Yes.
Like at work, if they tell you got to hit this sales level to get the commission, then guess what? You're trying to hit that sales level to get the commission. If you're incentivized to, if you pass the test, you get an A. Then you'll study to pass the test. Credit, like I say, is not hard, but it's not gonna just. There's nothing much in life that if you leave it alone and let it go, it gets better.
Right.
Like a garden, like your lawn, you can't just leave it alone. It needs some tending, but it's not a full-time job. But you do need to check it once a week and work on it. You need to spend a little bit of time. Take your credit out on a date. Somewhere. Spend Monday evening 3 hours working on your credit.
Yes.
Because it's important to you. Because credit's not just for houses. Credit leads to jobs.
Right.
There's some jobs you don't get because your credit is not high enough.
Wow.
They do background checks because think about it. If I'm going to ask you to be responsible for things in my business, I'm going to check your credit and it's legal, totally legal to do that. Because if you can't manage your money, how am I going to let you manage something for me? And the frontline folks don't make a lot of money. You don't get the money typically till you get into management. But if you can't manage yourself, one person, there's no way I'm going to let you manage 5 or 10 people.
Wow.
And make more money. So of course, it goes into calculating your insurance. Car insurance is credit based. Bad credit, your rates are higher because you don't seem to be a careful person. Now there's exceptions. There's healthcare issues that come up that can mess with your credit. Yes, there's things like that. But if it's simply don't pay a bill or you're random with paying bills on time, that'll really, really hurt things.
Yeah, one of the things I talked to a banker one time before, and he said they doing a loan based on life events and life events and lifestyle. So, a life event is something that might happen to you on a medical, but your lifestyle is the way you live it. So they actually would look at your credit cards and look at your credit and see where you shopping at. Are you in the clubs at night and hanging out at night and shopping in a lot of bars and you running that credit card? The bankers are now looking at that and saying, oh, this person right here is hanging out at night and this credit card is a little bit hot. So, they may have I hate to say it, but they may have a little drinking problem or something. And so the bank's looking at that right now. So they're looking at life events and lifestyles. So, you got to be careful. And I tell people when I talk to them that if you go to a bar, don't use your credit card at the bar. Pull your money out and then go to the bar because banks are looking at that now. I had several lenders told me that they looking at the lifestyle of a person. And of course, life events is what hit your credit. You might have a major accident, a major health problem, and we can understand the life event. We can't understand the lifestyle.
I call it managing a hole in your boat. Let's say you're on the ocean in a boat, and it's just you, and suddenly you got a leak in the side of your boat. Your top priority is to plug that hole, or you're going to drown. Please don't take a hammer and knock
Right.
more holes in the
Right.
side of your boat of your own design. And I find people doing that. Like, no, I can do
That's
that.
right.
I'll just tap at it. It's not going to be a big deal until you pop a hole in the boat. Now you have a crisis. So
That's
maintain
right.
the thing that carries you through this world, the boat. Your credit really does carry you through life because it affects so many things. You know, it's
That's
it's
right.
a common question. You find that even in dating, where people are like checking you out, want to know all about you. What's your finances like? What's your personal profile like? And that affects their decisions on who they're going to date. You know, I have two boys, 21 and 23, and you know, this is they look for in the women they date. Do they know how to handle money? You know, and the women they date look at that for them too. You know, they want to know. You know, are you going to make someone a good life partner that I'm going to want to be with and
I
take
have,
care of things?
I have a pastor that said that in one of his sermons. Hey, get the guy's credit. You know, pull his credit. You know, see
Right.
where he's at. I had a pastor that
And
said.
his criminal record. That'd probably be a good idea too. Credit.
I will tell you though, I'm excited though, Alice, because even on my phone calls that I'm getting, and a lot of the people that I'm getting are young people. I mean, they are the people that, you know, coming out of high school, and the people that right around in that 19 to 22 age, and even they're making it more aware of credit. They get more aware of the credit, and you know, it's something that I guess the parents didn't understand. So a lot of these people are really, you know, taking it hard, and I got a lot of people signing up just for the program that want credit fit,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and they're getting that learning. I see the improvement in credit. You know, I see the improvement in the credit. Housing, you know, FHA, 640 credit score, 41% DTI. I guess we'll talk about DTI one day, but 640 credit score. That's one thing. I have a lot of people that ask me those questions about the housing, about what it take to get into a house. And FHA is right around that 640 credit score. So when you come into my program, or you come into anybody program, you want to work that credit score up to the 640, and you want to make sure that DTI is at that 41%, because that's FHA standards. Well, what do you think about that?
That's the other big part of it is not just the credit, but your debt to
Mm-hmm.
income. I'm going to switch screens so we're a little bit more focused on our faces here. That makes it a little bit easier to see. Uh, Imagine yourself in all your day-to-day life. I tell you to put a backpack on, and
Mm-hmm.
every time you take on a new loan or new debt of some kind, I'm going to ask you to put 2 bricks in that backpack, and you can't take that backpack off. Every time you take on more and more debt, you got more bricks in your backpack, and you're going up and down the stairs at the work or your house. You're going to be worn out by the end of the day.
Right.
And I find so many people, it seems easy because the bankers and people making loans want it to seem easy, that it's easy to start a loan, but it's difficult to live with a loan that is not for something like a house. It's an appreciating asset. Most every loan I see people get, it's for a car. It's for I'm just credit cards. I'm just, you know, I'm going to pay my minimum balance this month, and I have all this debt, and it just crowds out all the other things in your life. You know, you can't be in 2 places at once, and you can't spend any more in debt than income that you're making every month, and until eventually you crowd everything else out, and there's no emergency money. Like, you know, what is it? I can't cite the study right off the top of my head, but they did a study that said 60% of Americans couldn't handle $1,000 car repair because there's not $1,000 laying around their bank account for them to pull out and pay for that car. So now you don't have a car, you can't get to work. Why is that? Well, I would bet for a lot of people, there's 3 or 4, maybe more monthly debt payments they're making. And that's your DTI, debt to income. If you're making $4,000 a month and you have $2,000 in debt payments, then you have a 50% debt to income, because 2,000 divided by 4,000 is 50%. That's pretty high.
Yes.
You know, and it crowds out. Like, what money's left over for food, gasoline, and you know, just general fixing broken things around the house, or putting clothes on your back, that kind of stuff. You got to really watch that debt to income, and if you don't have to have it to live, it's time to cut it out and cut out that debt so that you can save for the things that are going to support you in life. because you and I are both 51, soon to be 52. We're not going to have the Social Security of our parents.
I think I'm 52 right now.
Are you 52? You just turned. You just had a birthday. Happy
68.
birthday.
Yeah, I'm
but you are not going to have. We don't have pension plans.
When's your birthday?
August 17th.
No, I'm already 52. I'm 52.
You're already 52. All right, so you're older than me. So I'll defer to you because you're older and wiser. Okay. But you're not going to have the pension plans that, unless you're a state government worker, federal government worker. Yes, they still have them, but private companies don't have them. We have to build our own assets in life to be able to afford to retire. Because not only do we not have a lot coming in, but we're going to live longer than any generation before us. So we got to make it last. So you have to set yourself up financially in your life to be ready for that, because the cavalry's not coming to save you financially. You are responsible for yourself, and the earlier you make a decision starts like this, and it grows into a big V through your life. It just, all your life events get kind of fanned out from the base for this decision that you make, like the first job you take and what goes from there. Your choice of a career, your choice of who you marry, your choice of the city you live in, the friends you make, all be out to make up the rest of your life early on. So it's better to make good decisions early. And if you didn't make good decisions early, fix them and make the rest of your life do well. And that will help you through this process, because it's not just about math. It's about life and lifestyle. They're going to help you achieve your financial goals.
That's right. And it's hard when you say fix them, because a lot of people get stuck in the ways. Sometimes fixing them is getting around a new group of people. Moving to a new group of people, and some of the friends that you got. I heard one of the singers talk one day. He was a singer, and for him to go to the next level, he had to leave a lot of his friends alone because they wouldn't come to the level that he was at. And so sometimes you got to think about that whenever I think we try to hold on to our people just a little too long. I'm a witness of that. I mean, I've done that in the past.
Oh, we've all done it. Well, I would imagine if you asked that friend if his friends gave him a hard time about moving on up, that they would try and kind of bring him down too.
Yeah.
You can't go with them. They don't want you to leave.
Yeah, because this thing is serious out here. I mean, this financing thing, I have found out in my time, is real serious. I mean, I was in real estate, and I always thought, that I can always flip a deal. Go out here up and 7, I can always flip a deal. I can always get out here and make money and flip a deal in a house. And I always made money. But then when that thing hit in 07, I actually said, "Oh man, this is the end of the world," because the banks just froze. Everything just froze up. And I was like, man, I don't know what we're going to do. It loosened back up, and we was able to get back out there. But, it's scary when you're doing one thing and that's all you've been doing. And I didn't even diversify in the real estate game. I was just flipping. And I was doing a little bit of building, but I should have been putting some, diversifying my money a little bit better. And I took a major hit in 07. Hit.
Every 8 to 12 years, you get a boom, a crash, or some like sharp left turn financially. We have the 07, 08, and then now we have coronavirus, and it shuts everything down for a while, and everything stops, and suddenly you're rethinking everything. The difference between then and now is like, wait a minute, do I have to go in the office all the time? Can I work from home? Can I do this? We couldn't have done this a year ago. Although live streaming was available, it's too expensive and too complicated to do.
Yes.
This is so easy now, it's just not hard to do. But things change, and suddenly it's a different world. And just like when we invented the internet, it made a different world. But that was only the first change, and then subsequent changes came from that.
Yeah.
So the world is changing. It's going to be more up to you to do for yourself. That's the biggest change. Did you realize no one's got my back? I've really got to take care of my own finances. I've got to take care of my own family. You got to start with learning about things that they should have taught you in school, but they didn't. And that's what's going to be our ongoing talk.
Yeah.
Is how do we do these things? So this is kind of an intro to get started. Next week we'll what do you like the 10 o'clock slot, or you think 10:30 might be better on Wednesdays, John?
I mean, I just got the time
We got to make the time.
Right. I'll put some stuff together in the studio, and I just got the time mixed up today. 10 o'clock can be fine for us. Yeah.
Okay.
10 o'clock can be fine.
Well, we got to think about our audience and see what time they're available, because what's going to make this great, and we're not doing this too much today, but what's going to make this great is we have the ability to take your questions, because we're streaming to Facebook Live. John, we're on your real estate Facebook page.
Yeah.
And we want people to come in and ask us questions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you'll post those questions to the stream, we actually can see them, and I can pop those questions up on the screen, and we're going to answer them to the best of our ability. You may know better what the answer is. I may know, or we'll blend together a good answer between us. But that's what makes this work. We want to build a community where people can, hey man, I'm just getting started, or I have an opportunity and this is a deal, but I don't know how to analyze it, whether or not this is a good thing to be working on.
Right.
Here's a house that needs this work, and then I think it needs this, and I can buy it for that. Is that a good idea? Mm-hmm. Okay. And if we can, we'll help you with that too. If it's a good deal and it works out, we can maybe even partner in and help make it happen for you.
Right. And we do have deals out here that we got coming up. We have bank lists, bank foreclosure lists. We have all kinds of deals that if anybody out there looking to buy a home, you can get the education from us, of course. And then at the same time, we can help you get into the house and purchase a house. I love investors. So we got more investors that look in the house. We got houses we can sell you that, we can't do every house out there. So therefore, if I got a house out, like I got one in Columbia, South Carolina right now, that it's a great investor house. So next week we'll probably put that on the board and have a few little pictures of that people can then really look in and bid on if they want to. Right here online. I mean, I love you bid right here online.
Sure.
For the house. So yeah, we got some property always coming up. I think this is gonna be a good thing, Alice. It's just a matter of getting everybody to the John Fuller real estate page. Because right now everybody's on the other page. And for some reason, this went on Jump for real estate, but that's fine. I went on and did a lot of inviting, and when they get off work today, they'll hit it, and then we'll see what's going on. But it did show up on my regular page. I'm looking at it on the regular page, so it's there. But it's 10 o'clock in the morning, so people are working too.
Yeah, 10 o'clock in the morning might be something that people watch after the fact. And again, we're not wedded to it, but we can maybe do a drive time or a something else that hits people more at a more convenient time. But we want to make sure we're doing it well too, because we are newbies at this live streaming thing. We know real estate, but this is tech. But so far so good. This is working out pretty well. So
and the next show, Alice, I would really like to go more into if we can on the budgeting and break that DTI number down, because we talked about DTI, we talked about credit, but I'd like to go a little bit into the DTI on the chart and really show the people how that works with the budgeting power that you got. You got the copy of the budgeting power. We can bring it up and actually put some numbers in and show people what that 41% hit, and that can be a whole class by itself for people to get a clear understanding of this.
Yeah, let's do that. So next week when we will post that we're going to do a live stream, we'll put in the title, the topic. We'll do budgeting, let's say, for next week, and how to put your budget together to get you ready for that home purchase. Again, you first off got to be prepared.
Right.
Nobody walks onto the court, play one-on-one with LeBron or something, and think that if you haven't been playing for a long time, you're going to do well. It's not that hard. But you do have to take some steps, and it's not rocket science, but you do have to follow it like a recipe.
Yes.
If you follow the recipe, you're going to get the cake.
Yes, sir.
But if you don't follow the recipe, you're going to go and you're not paying attention to your temperature, your time, and your measurements, then you're not going to get what you thought you were. So we'll do that. So for next week, let's do budgeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What we do, I like budgeting DTI. It dealing with the DTI. I got so much stuff in my head on the DTI chart, and just doing DTI, then we can kind of break off of DTI and go to different
Okay.
angles. Cause when you're dealing with DTI, what affect your DTI? You know, I have been to the closing table and someone buys something and the bank pulled the credit one more time before we close, and we have missed that loan because of the DTI. So I want to show how things like that can affect you when you're dealing with your DTI. So I want to,
Right.
you need to know your DTI number like you know your blood pressure numbers. That's what I tell people. I
Right.
mean,
And monitor them. Right. It's, you can't look at your DTI from 6 months ago and think everything's still good.
right.
You have to kind of keep up.
Because a lot of things affect the income, affected. You know, I got a house, doing a house right now with a lady. You know, she working, but then when COVID came, now that put a pause on the loan. So now we
Mhm.
trying to close the loan, but we can't close the loan because she's really not working. She getting unemployment money, but the bank is not going to give her the loan based on the unemployment money. They want her to go back to work, and they want her to see what that DTI going to look like when she start going back to work. So you know, it plays a major factor in getting a home. So that's why I want
Hey,
to talk about it this week.
hey, John, I've got a comment here. If it's okay with Becky, Becky put in a comment. I'm going to show this real quick. Becky
Wow.
says her blood pressure is as high as her DTI.
Wow.
Well, Becky, you might want to get that checked. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, talk to your doctor, talk to your local professional. But this is kind of funny, but this is kind of an example. When people do post questions on our live stream,
Right.
we'll be able to show them.
There you go.
And just talk to it right away. So this is interactive. This is like a call-in show on the radio, but for, the 21st century. Here we are in 2020. So
Hmm.
we'll post those questions just like that. Becky, thank you for contributing for our very first Facebook comment. We appreciate that.
I'm sorry about the blood pressure thing. That makes sense, but hey, I do
Yeah,
tell people. Yeah.
that's a topic outside the show. You might want to talk to your doctor, but we'll work on the DTI. So
Yeah.
Becky, invite your friends too for next week.
Yeah.
To come on, because it's, as they say on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe.
There you go.
Share the video with your friends because we're starting small. It's our first one. And oh, hey Becky, I'm going to do it again. You got another comment, so I'm going to pop that up real quick too.
Okay.
Talk to John in February. We'll be in touch soon. Okay, cool, Becky. Very
Okay,
nice.
Becky.
So, yeah, it does. Like Becky's statement just kind of goes to what I said about preparation. She's getting prepared. She's doing the
Yes.
steps. You
Yeah.
start in February. It may take you 6 months, depending on, or a year or something, to get ready. Most times it doesn't, and it depends on how hard you commit to it too. Because, for example, if there's a distance between where your credit is and where you want it to be, and
Mhm.
where your DTI is and where you want it to be, you could take the slow path to get you there, like making some small changes in your lifestyle to get it there,
Mhm.
or you can go into beast mode and
Right.
just cut expenses and knock down credit and hit the creditors and spend lots of hours on it. And before you know it, bam, you've conquered that beast. But
And
it,
Alex, I definitely want to say this, and we're gonna go over this one day. The budgeting power, what you just hit, that's how the budgeting power works. If, you
yeah,
know, it goes into your net income. If you guys don't have the budgeting power software, get with us so we can get it to you, so we can take you through it. It goes into your net income, and it actually shows you how much money you are spending on the net level. And then if we get the net right, then we can have that extra money to save, and that will help you on your gross. Because the banks look at gross, but I look at net when I'm doing a house for a person. But the banks look at the gross number. So it's a major difference. And I think that's where we had a lot of foreclosure problems at, where people were looking at their gross and they said, oh, I can afford this house. But then when they come home, they didn't put in factor light bill, groceries, get my hair done, going out every week, going to the movies, gas, church tithe. They didn't put all this stuff in there, and that's what the budgeting power does. It put all that in there for you to get a clear understanding of what your budget really is like, and then we move that over to the growth, and we see where it grows, and it will balance itself out. So I want to go over that one day too, with that, so we can most definitely have that. We got phone calls coming in, but I want to go over that so we most definitely can have that if we can do that next week, Alex. Kind
yeah,
of just go, yeah, run into the
that
budget.
that's the key because it is, you'd be surprised. People think like, I don't want to give up so many things in their life that might impact them negatively. But I'll tell you, one of the biggest things they don't want you understanding, so to speak. Here, I'm going to do my conspiracy mode. The reason you don't get education on finances in school is because bankers don't want you to know how much money you're giving them in interest and how much they're just sucking off you financially. Because people look at their debt, and you start looking at some of the rates people are paying. John, what's an average credit card rate you see when you're helping people out? What are they paying interest rate wise in their cards?
17 to 22%. The people that I'm seeing.
Yeah, well, because you know what? That's a typical credit card rate. That's not just this small sample of people just have these high rates. You go around and you shop for cards and you see what rates they'll give you. It is the most expensive money you will ever pay, and you typically bought things with that don't last. So you cut off those. You start from the top of the mountain and go down. We'll talk about that in budgeting. Like, let's kill the thing with the highest rate, its balance first. That gives you the money then, because you save all that interest, to knock out the next highest thing and the next highest thing. And before you know it, I mean, I bet if people counted up the amount of money they pay annually in interest, it's almost enough to make you cry.
Yeah.
You know, like if you said, wait, I spent $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a year in interest I didn't need to. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it is crazy. But you know, it can slip under. You don't see it.
Right.
Because it's just in a monthly statement in small increments, but every single month.
Yes.
So,
like you said, a lot of people don't see it, and that's something that we're going to bring to the people's attention by looking at the show. We're going to make you more aware of your interest, so that you can really pay more attention to it, and hopefully we can get you out of debt and get you into some houses or whatever you want to do. You know, better credit, better lifestyle. That's what it means. So,
right.
You know,
it's all about that better lifestyle. You know, don't make somebody else rich, make yourself rich.
You make your money when you buy. So buy right.
That's right. That's right. It is very difficult, no matter if you do it perfectly, to make a deal bought for the wrong price ever work out.
Yes.
It's just not possible. You could be very smart, but alternatively, you can make a lot of mistakes. But if you bought it at the right price, maybe it's not a home run, but it's a single or a double.
That's right.
You know, you can make that work.
That's right.
So, all right, John.
We're going to invite some bankers on too, right? We're going to get some bankers to come on and kind of share their information. So, you know, we're going to have a lot of professionals and people on here to kind of, you know, share their information from their point of view.
Right.
Of course, my point of view, I've got his point of view, and then they're going to have their point of view. But we're just trying to give you
everybody. It's all about the team, man. Yeah, it's all about the team. You know, you got to build the team. You know, you need a guy who's knowledgeable in finance. You need a guy who's knowledgeable in construction. You need just like you know, everybody needs to know a good mechanic, a good plumber, a good. Now, John, I'm going to get you if you keep putting that phone. You don't put it on mute.
Yeah, I'm about to go to silent on it. I don't know what's going on with it.
Okay, I don't know. It's iPhone, man. I got to get you on the Android. But anyway, that's another topic.
You have to go
hey, man, they're cheaper.
They had a phone with the other day, so I don't know. Our phone was working real good the other day.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's do this. We'll set up for next week. Let's do 10:30 next Wednesday. Gives more time for people to get up, get their coffee, get their day going, and listen in. And then you're free to post questions after this video is done.
Okay.
And then we'll review those, and we can pick them up in the next discussion. So if you have questions regarding debt to income, budgeting, whatever, go ahead and post to this link even after the stream is over, and we'll pick those up next week. But we'll be here 10:30 next week again on Facebook Live, and you know, between now and then, y'all have a great week.
I want to say this. We got so much stuff to talk about. We got so much stuff to really educate you guys on. So really tell your friends, tune in, hit us up on Facebook. I mean, this show, we want this show to be educational. We want to really get the word out to you guys. So we want the show to be real educational for you guys. So hit us up. A lot of information that we give away.
Right.
I got more information in my head than I think I got.
We just have to be careful it doesn't come out like a fire hose and knock it right down. Little increments and get it there.
This is to everybody. So hey, we appreciate you guys. You know, hit us up. You know, my Facebook. You got my Facebook page, but my website, johnfuller.store. You guys can go there. You know, you can hit me up on that. You can always hit us up and let's get some information out to you guys. Things are
And
gonna be real good, Alice. I think we're gonna be
yeah,
helping a lot of people out.
and hit me up too, JohnFuller.store for John. And for me, I also real estate guy, investor. You need offices in the Irmo, South Carolina area. BaileyRealEstate.net, just like my name, Bailey. BaileyRealEstate.net for your small office, small business needs. We're there for you. And sounds great, John. We will see you next week, 10:30 Wednesday, and we'll do it again. And we'll talk about DTI, getting ready to buy your first home.
Yeah, I had the 6 steps to buying your home ready to
Great.
go.
We'll look at that whiteboard.
Can I say this one more thing, Alice?
Sure. Yeah.
Guys, download the book. You know, you can get it at johnfuller.store. The new book, Decoding the Home Buying System, breaking that system down for you, what we're going to be doing online here. But go ahead and get the book and decode the home buying system at, johnfuller.store. And I think he
There
ran
it
it
is.
across there, so you
Bottom
guys
screen.
email.
Right.
Go download that book.
That's right. And
I just want to say,
again, for me, the business offices, you can reach out to me too. There's my email, leabailey@gmail. If you have a question, BaileyRealEstate.net.
Real nice.
Offices.
Been over there.
That's right.
Real nice.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one, and we will see you next week, 10:30 Wednesday.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.